The Pittsburgh Steelers 2024-2025 NFL schedule has been officially released. So, earlier this morning, I released some leaks that have happened and that people announced of the Steelers schedule, but now it is official. All the times, all the dates, who they're facing, what week, everything you need to know. But first, before I get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates, and also like the video. Now, let's get right into it. So, to start off, let's go with the preseason first. Because obviously, we get out of training camp, everyone's waiting for that first preseason game of live football action against an opposing team instead of seeing highlights of the Steelers just facing their defense. So, the preseason, week 1, they will be facing the Houston Texans. And this will be a home game. August 9th, which is a Friday. Now, moving over to the second preseason game, week 2 of the preseason, August 17th, which is a Saturday, versus the Buffalo Bills. So once again, it will be a home preseason game. 2 home preseason games right off the bat. And then week 3 of the preseason, it's still to be determined the date, but it will be against the Detroit Lions, and this will be a road game. The final preseason game before the regular season. Enough with preseason football. Now let's move over to the real thing. The real thing that matters. Week 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be facing the Atlanta Falcons at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on September 8th, and they'll open up on the road. And then going back to week 2. Week 2 will be on the road once again, September 15th at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's not prime time, but it's a little bit of prime time. Denver Broncos will be the opponents, and it will be in Denver. So once again, on the road. But then the home opener will be the following week. Week 3, September 22nd, 1 p.m. Eastern Time at Acrisure Stadium versus the Los Angeles Chargers. But then, once again, they go on the road. Week 4, September 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. So, week 5, however, they're back home, and it's a primetime game, October 6th, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Dallas Cowboys at Acrisure Stadium. But then, week 6, once again, back on the road. October 13th, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Las Vegas Raiders. But then, week 7 and week 8, both those games are home. So 2 home games before the bye week. October 20th, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time versus the New York Jets. So, once again, that is Sunday night football. And then we have back-to-back primetime games because the following week, week 8, October 28th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, we face the New York Giants on Monday Night Football. So as of right now, all 3 of the Steelers' primetime games up to this point will be a home game. And then, like I said, week 9 is our bye week, the week off. Time to regroup, time to take a little bit of vacation, but the following week, week 10, back at it again on the road. November 10th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, versus the Washington Commanders. Next week, week 11, November the 17th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time will be the first AFC North football game. It waited all the way till week 11 to get our first AFC divisional rivalry game versus the Baltimore Ravens. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, a home game at least. And then the next week, week 12, another AFC North game, November 21st, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night football versus the Cleveland Browns. This make it a triple header because week 13, it's another divisional rivalry game, AFC North, December 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Why not make it 4 games in a row against the AFC North? Because we face the Cleveland Browns the following week in week 14 as well. December 8th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. But then, enough with AFC North for now, because week 15, we face the Philadelphia Eagles on December 15th, 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time. Then, the following week, back at it again with AFC North football. Week 16, December 21st, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Baltimore Ravens. And then a very, very short week. On a Wednesday, on Christmas, December 25th, Week 17, 1 p.m. Eastern Time versus the Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. And this will be a home game. So a home game on Christmas once again. And then Week 18 to finish the season against AFC North, Cincinnati Bengals. But the date will be January 5th, but the time is to be determined. So as we see, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers official preseason and regular season 2024-2025 NFL schedule. So, just recapping it in general, not going through every single game, but just looking at the most important ones. It seems as though, right off the bat, Week 1, Week 2, important storyline situations. Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith. He got fired from their head coaching position, moved over to Pittsburgh, so it's a revenge game in that scenario. And then in Week 2, another revenge game, because Russell Wilson will be facing his former team, which released him, the Denver Broncos. A whole spat happened where he got benched towards late last season, a dispute with his contract. He moved on, the team moved on, but it's a revenge game for him as well. So Week 1 and Week 2, both revenge games right off the bat. And then another storyline here is the Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot of primetime games. When you look at it, not only do they have games on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. Yes, those are the primetime games. But the Steelers seem to have a lot of 4:25, 4 p.m. Eastern Time games. Way more than last season and prior years. Usually they play at 1 p.m. or a primetime game, like a late nighter. But it seems as though they're playing in primetime a lot this year at the 4 p.m. slot as well, 4:30 p.m. slot. So the Steelers have a lot of home games as well on those primetime games. When you look at the ones on Thursday, Sunday, Monday, late at night, it's mostly going to be home games. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have a little bit of advantage there. Another storyline that I want to talk about is it's kind of weird because the Pittsburgh Steelers don't face an AFC North team until Week 11. Meaning that all the tough battles with the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, it's always tough. It's always gritty. People always end up getting injured. So late towards the season, it's right before the playoffs. Right before the playoffs hit, the Steelers are going to have to go through a battle facing 6 games. 2 against the Ravens, 2 against the Browns, 2 against the Bengals, and go through a war right before the playoffs if they get in. So that's a really big storyline there because it puts the Steelers in a bad situation come playoff time if we end up making it. But one of the good things with this schedule is the travel miles because the Steelers, they have the 4th fewest miles among NFL teams in 2024 in terms of traveling, meaning the plane will only have to be traveling 12,047 miles. Like I said, the 4th least. So at least that's a good thing in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers. In 2022, they traveled the fewest in the league with just 6,442, and the second fewest in 2021 with 9,776. So it seems like the Steelers always have that kind of advantage in terms of travel miles, and this year it's the 4th fewest. Even though it's 16,000, the Steelers are still the 4th fewest. So that's a good thing, but their schedule is not going to be easy late towards the end of the season, and they're in a bad spot there. But anyway, hopefully the Steelers get the job done before the end of the season, and the Steelers go on a run, and we finally see the Steelers win a playoff game this year. But anyway, this is the schedule and the official release of it, who they will be facing from preseason to the last game of the regular season, the timing, the dates, prime time, not prime time, everything like that, home or away. So this is it. And let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on the schedule release. Do you believe it's easy? Do you believe it's hard? Do you believe the Steelers are put in a bad situation? Give me all your thoughts on the storylines as well. And just give me your predictions. What's the Steelers' record? Predict it now. Maybe predict it later. But this is the schedule. And also, with that being said, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. I cover everything. This schedule got leaked earlier today. I made a video covering it, and basically all the leaks were right. There's only 2 games missing in that leak video, but everything else was right. So this is an official thing. And I'm going to be continuing to cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers. I covered all free agency, all the draft, every move we made, every new player, their introduction, their past history, what they could bring to this team is on the channel. So go ahead and check it out, and I'll continue doing so, covering everything from training camp, OTAs, off-season, new guys signing, new deals, maybe a trade here and there, but everything will be covered on this channel. So if you want to see and hear Pittsburgh Steelers news instead of read it, this is the spot for you. But with that being said, like the video, turn on notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.